Hey everybody, I'm coming making this video message, and I want to tell you, you do not have to receive anything from anybody when it does not resonate with your spirit. We have got to stop making people feel like when something is told to us or something is suggested to us or someone tries to implement the way that they do things in their life into our life and we reject it. We have got to stop telling people they're immature, prideful, not teachable, and disrespectful. That's what this video message is about. I want to let you all know that this is why it's very critical that you get to know God for yourself, because all of your validation, all of your security, all of your confidence, all of your understanding, this is going to come through your one-on-one relationship and you working to constantly build your relationship with God. Because when you keep listening to what people are saying to you and they want you to go by their rules, their personal rules that they've outlined, or the world's personal views and rules, you're going to be very, very confused. You're going to be angry. You are going to be insecure, and you are going to be unsure about just about every move that you make. Let me tell you all something. When somebody comes to you and says something to you, you know when something is off. And I'm not even just talking about prophetic words. I'm just talking about there are some people that feel like they know you. They feel like they know you. They feel like they have all the answers to your life. They feel like they know everything that's going on with you and the inner workings of everything. Sometimes it could be people that's at a close distance to you, or it could be people that's at an indirect distance to you. But people will come to you and tell you how they feel you should do certain things. But real talk, how they do certain things, it just does not work for you. Maybe it's the wrong season for you to implement that suggestion. Maybe you don't agree with it. Maybe you don't respect it. But whatever the case is, don't ever allow somebody to say that you are full of pride or unteachable or you are disrespectful simply because you don't receive something from them. See, there are certain people who will come to you and they can give you very good advice. They can say maybe you should do it this way because they have the experience. They have the experience and they could tell you certain things. But there's a big difference with somebody giving you advice and making suggestions because maybe they have the education or the experience versus somebody just looking at you or taking what they've heard about you or what they personally assume or think about you, and then they try to tell you something. And once you don't agree with it or once you reject it, then they will just look at you as a whole and say, you know what? This person is not teachable. This person is disrespectful. This person is full of pride. You can't say anything to them. I'm just telling you all, you know when something is off. You all think about it. Think about anything somebody has said to you. You know when it's off. You know when it's off. It could be prophetic. It could be your boss at work. It could be a certain family member that told you something. You could even have one of your best friends tell you something, and it doesn't sit well with your soul. It does not sit well with your spirit. All I'm telling you is that, you know what? It's at a point now in the direction that the world is going in and the things that a lot of people are partaking in and how they are submitting to a lot of demonic things that are being released. You better take certain information with a long handle spoon. You cannot put a lot of stock into certain stuff. And you're going to know by the grace of God, those of you who have discernment, those of you who have the Spirit of the Lord in you, or those of you are just well-rounded in a sense. You've been around so many people. You've had different interactions with people. So you pretty much know BS when you see it. Just in a nutshell, just to be as nice as possible. You pretty much know it. You can peg somebody and tell when they come in with some mess. You could tell when it's off. You could tell when it's not coming from a pure place. But all I'm telling you all in this video message is you don't have to receive everything that somebody comes to you with. If it's making you uncomfortable, if you saying this is not lining up with my values, my morals, my standards, then I'm not receiving what this person is saying. One way that you will know that somebody is suggesting something to you or they're giving you some information that's off is just simply look at their life. No, I'm not talking about the stuff that they have. We're not getting caught up on material possessions. I want you to look at their life. Look at how they live their life on a day-to-day basis. If that person is always in drama, if that person is always in chaos, if that person lives their life and they're always indecisive about basic things or even bigger things, how can they come and suggest how you should live or how you should think or how you should feel or how you should do this because they did it? In the season of their life when they made a certain decision and it went through and it worked, that was for them. It has nothing to do with you. Now, there will be some people that come to you and they say, can I suggest this to you? Can I give you this information? I did it. I'm not sure. I think that's the humble way that we should all be, to where we can tell somebody, you know what, try this, use this method, use this system, because I use this method, I use this system, and it worked for me. So just test it out and see if it works for you. I think that people should be more humble, but a lot of times people are not humble like that. People just feel like whatever they develop and whatever is hidden in their life, they just feel like you're dumb or you're stupid when you don't accept it and receive it when they come to you with it. I'm telling you all, you don't have to accept or receive anything that does not sit well with your spirit. Now I am going to take it to a spiritual level, because this week I've talked to you all about the prophetic and signs of a false prophet or somebody operating in a gift prematurely or presumptuously. But in the spiritual sense, it applies definitely to the kingdom of God, because sometimes we have also an attitude where we feel like when somebody has a title or they're in a high position in the church, that everything that they say goes. Everything that they tell you to do is right. But you all have got to realize that these men and women of God, they are flawed just like you. They make mistakes. They make bad decisions. They fall. They are weak. They are left vulnerable sometimes. And they will sin sometimes, you know, and they got to get back up and pick themselves back up. So what I'm saying is that sometimes, depending on where somebody is, because internally there can be something going on in your spirit, man, and it's off. And you all over the place, just spiritually, you all over the place. And so it will cause you to start believing things that really don't line up with the word of God. It can cause you to start believing things that are more on a worldly scale and not a spiritual scale. Sometimes people will give you information based off 100% carnality, 100% immoral practices, 100% illegal practices. And so what I'm saying is that you are going to love people. You are going to maybe respect people. You're going to really, really like certain people who give you advice that still does not resonate with you. But I want you all to be okay with that. Just simply be okay with that. Just say, you know what? I don't want to accept or receive what you're telling me, because that's not going to work for me. And see, if that person or those people start getting angry and they want to argue you down because you do not receive or accept what they're telling you you should do, or the way you should walk, or the way you should talk, or the way you should think, then that's how you will know where they are. Because you can easily look at them and say, you know what, this person is arrogant. This person is not really giving me humble vibes, because how dare they get pissed off or upset that I'm not receiving what they're telling me? How dare they threaten me and say my life is going to be messed up or my life is going to go down the drain because I'm not taking their advice or it's not sitting well with me? I can't tell you all how many times I've come across people that have given me horrible advice in life. And had I been a weak-minded woman, had I been a very open, vulnerable woman, had I not had parents, 2 parents in my life that really taught me and prayed for me, and had I not known God, I cannot tell you, if I took the advice from certain people, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you all. And so now I'm at a place like this, and you all can take it for what it's worth. If it resonates with you, that's fine. All I'm saying to you is that I don't feel that God is going to deal with anybody who does not receive something that is not resonating with their spirit. If it's something that's right, if it's something that's positive, if it's something that is productive and it can change you or your situation for the better, by all means accept it and take it in, even if the information or the methods or whatever that someone is suggesting to you or offering you, even if it may make you uncomfortable. Because sometimes people will give you information and it's not convenient for you at the time. If you've been accustomed to living your life a certain type of way and somebody comes to you and says, you know what, you got to stop doing that, you got to stop hanging around certain people, you should cut this person off. We all know it's not rocket science. We all know that gradually you have to start distancing yourself from certain people. We know that overnight that's not going to happen. And so if somebody is telling you, you know, I see this in somebody that you're hanging with, I know this person. You don't know them behind closed doors, but I really do. You're going to naturally feel uncomfortable because that person's experience with them is not your experience with them. Other people will have very nasty, disgusting experiences with other people, but you may not, because maybe that person or those people show you a certain side that they don't show other people. But what I'm saying is that there are just certain things people will come and tell you, and immediately there's a disruption in your spirit. Immediately you can feel like, no, what she's saying is off. No, what he's saying is off. That sounds crazy. That doesn't even sound right. I know that is not God. That is not of God. That is not right. That does not line up with my moral compass. That does not line up with my standards. That does not line up with my values. I'm not in agreement with that. And sometimes when people are doing certain things, they will get so submerged in it and so comfortable in it, they will normalize it. Did you guys know that there are people out here that will normalize off toxic, disgusting behavior? And sometimes it has nothing to do with being under the umbrella of something sexual. It doesn't. It can just be people will live their life a certain way and they can do something that's very toxic and it's off, but because they've been in it for so long, they normalize it. That's normal behavior to them. That's normal to them. I'm gonna tell you all something that it may be kind of far-fetched to you all when I say this, but it's real. There are some people that they normalize just cussing around their parents. That's normal to them. Just everybody just does it. It's not a boundary there. It's not a, oh, I'm sorry, mom. They just openly do that. They normalize it. I'm not going to say it's necessarily sexual, but it's inappropriate. There are some people that their entire family just walk around each other naked. And to a lot of people, believe it or not, that's normal to them. They feel like, well, we grew up like that. We grew up where our mother walked around naked. We grew up where our father walked around naked. We grew up and our kids did that. We all family. Everybody got all the girls got the same body part. All the boys got the same body part. I've literally heard people say this, and it's not a shock to them because they're comfortable with that, and they will try to normalize that. Now, that may be a bad example, but that's like the quickest thing that comes to my mind. But all I'm saying is that you don't have to receive it. Anything that's abnormal to you, even in the spiritual sense, in the intellectual or a economical sense, somebody can tell you something and say, well, this works for me. But if you don't receive it, you got to do what works for you. I know some people that feel like when you go grocery shopping, you need to spend a whole lot of money and buy a bunch of stuff in bulk. But see, that's not going to sit well with me and certain people, because you will go and you will spend $500 or $600 on a bunch of stuff, and then it expires. It goes bad sitting in your house. When you try to tell that person that was hell-bent on telling you you're going to save a lot of money, that's dumb. When that run out and those products run out and you run out of those items, you're going to have to keep going back to the store, buying it over and over again, when you could just buy all this large amounts of food and certain stuff like that and keep it like that. Yeah, certain things. But when it comes to every single product and every single food and every single item in your house, that's not going to work with everybody buying it in bulk. So these are just light examples. But I'm talking about anything that just does not resonate with your spirit. Don't get caught up in people misjudging you, saying you're not teachable, you're disrespectful, you're immature, you're prideful. So many people now, they will quickly label you as prideful when you just don't receive anything from them. They don't realize that maybe you don't have that respect for them. Maybe you have skimmed and scanned over their life and their way of thinking and their behavior. Sometimes the way people carry themselves, you don't receive something that they come to you with. That's a fact. That's a fact. You can look at somebody's overall disposition and their mentality and their attitude. And so when they call themselves getting serious and they want to give you certain information, you don't receive it. You don't accept it because you know that person's character. And so all I'm saying is that you know who you are. You know if you're really prideful. You know if you are not teachable. You know if you are a disrespectful or hard-headed person. This is not justification for anybody to be prideful, because God does not want us arrogant. God does not want us prideful. God does not want us uppity. And God does not want us to think that we are above rebuke or correction. So don't mistake or twist this video around. But what I'm saying is that there are some people you will instantly be turned off when they start saying certain things to you or suggesting certain things. You will know when God is not in it. You will know when they're coming from a fleshy place. You will know when they're coming from an impure or an immoral place. And it just does not resonate with you. And it gets tricky, guys. Let me say this before I get out of here. Don't be tricked. Don't be deceived, because sometimes people will put God's name in front of some bad information or bad advice that they give you. They will literally lie on God, and they will put God's name in the front of it, and they use it as a way to manipulate. They feel like, oh, well, you know that I'm a woman of God. You know that I'm a man of God. You know that I've been walking with God for a long time. So I'm saying, do this way. Go this direction. And when it's still like not resonating with you, be okay with that. Be okay with that. God, I'm telling you, will send you people who gives you very good advice. He will give you people that love him for real, that know him for real, that have a real prayer life. And they will give you life-changing advice. And it will sit well with you. And if it doesn't sit well with you right then and there in that moment, as time goes on and you mull it over, and you maybe apply some of it to your life, you'll say, you know what, that's really good advice that sis gave me. That's really good advice that that brother gave me. That's good advice that that man of God gave me. That's great advice that that woman of God gave me. You all just start paying attention to that. But I just want to let you all know, time out for allowing people to make you feel bad because you do not receive or accept what they come to you with. You've got to line your life up, and you've got to live your life and do things that work for you. As long as it's right, as long as it's nothing illegal, as long as it's not anything that's compromising your safety or the safety of your children or your loved ones and friends, there is nothing wrong with it. But if it's something that you're thinking too much on, you keep pondering the same thing, you keep questioning it, you feeling something is off, you feeling like, I don't really trust that. I can't see the evidence to know that something is wrong, but something just, it ain't sitting right with me. Don't ignore that. Don't overlook that. Don't ignore that. And don't be concerned about what somebody's going to say about you. People are going to say stuff. They going to call you all types of stuff. Don't let anybody manipulate you. Don't let them manipulate you with the word of God. Don't let people manipulate you with titles. Don't let somebody come and tell you, well, you need to receive what I'm saying to you because I'm this and I'm that, and this is my title. That means nothing. If it's not sitting well with you, it's a reason why it's not sitting well with you. Your spirit is rejecting it. Your mind is rejecting it. And then on the other hand, when somebody does come and say something to you, or they suggest something to you or give you advice, it sits well with you immediately. Immediately it resonates with you. it lines up with something God has told you. You can go in the word of God and say, yeah, that lines up. Oh, you know what? My spirit agrees with this. I feel good about this. I feel confident about this. But anytime you sitting back and you keep thinking and thinking and thinking and lamenting over the same thing, there's something off. There's something wrong, guys. And in these times, we really, really got to be more sharp. You got to be sharp. We got to be sharp. But again, you don't have to receive it. I'm not going to receive everything from everybody. I'm just not. Because there's certain things that I see and there's certain things that I know, and plain and simple, I know that certain things that people do in their life, I know it's not going to work for mine. It may not necessarily be bad information, but I just know it's not going to work for me in my life and what I have going on. And that's just real. I cannot get any realer than that. But I understand rebuke. I understand correction. I don't think that I'm above it. You shouldn't think that either. You don't be prideful. Pride, when it comes to certain things like this, with you not receiving anybody, that's if you just don't receive nothing from anybody. And you know people are telling you the right thing, but you just bullheaded. You want to be hard-headed. You think you a Mr. or Mrs. Know-it-all, and anything somebody tries to tell you, you just reject it. I'm not talking about those of you who do that. But I'm talking about some of you, you pretty good with listening to another perspective. You're pretty good with listening to another side. You don't mind somebody coming to give you advice if it works for you. But from time to time, you'll have somebody come and tell you something and you are like, I don't receive that. That sounds weird. That sounds off. So that's the video message, guys. You don't have to receive everything you hear. You do not have to accept it. If it's off, if it is making you uncomfortable, if it is waking you up at night, if you got to keep thinking about the same thing over and over again, like, should I do it? Should I not do it? No, it should click with you. It should click with you. It should click with your spirit. It should comfort you. Even God himself, when God tells us something or when he reveals something to us, he leaves a level of comfort with us. He leaves a level of comfort with us where we just know, you know what, Father, I know that came from you. I wasn't really ready for what you said, but it resonates with me. It resonates with my soul. It's not keeping me up at night. I'm not stressed out about it. I'm not going back and forth about it. I'm okay with it. So just remember that, guys. That's the video message. Well, guys, it's time for me to go because I have some other things to do. The Lord willing, I will be back with another video message. If any one of you have taken offense to anything I spoke about in this video message, it's okay. It's all right. I'm not worried about it. I am not concerned because I know you will forgive me in the morning.